Your anger can hurt you, but it can also help you. In this video, we'll talk about ways that you can make your anger beneficial for you. Hi, my name is JD, and I'm a statistician and music therapist here to offer statistically significant support. Before we get started, please hit the like and the subscribe buttons so that when I put out more material, you can get the support that you need when you need it. And with that out of the way, the angrier you are, the more likely you are to be an aggressive driver, experience anxiety and depression, and seek revenge, and also engage in counterproductive behaviors. But anger can influence you in meaningful and persuasive ways, like rallying you into action and making you proactive. And it can even make you approach a problem or fight it and find constructive solutions for it. So anger can be both beneficial and hurtful. For example, getting angry during the negotiation process might make that person give you more, but that's only going to be true if you have a higher status than they do and the negotiations are private. But anger is just as likely to hurt you as it is to help you in the negotiation process. So by regulating your emotions, you can make your anger beneficial and proactive. You can do this through cognitive behavioral therapy and anger management programs. And the cognitive behavioral therapy reduces anger because it focuses on behavior and modifications while challenging negative thoughts through processes like rational emotive therapy. Anger management programs help to reduce anger, depression, and aggression, not depression, and loss of self-control even in children. So look up some programs that are near you to find what can work for you. But in this video, I want to talk about forgiveness because learning to forgive reduces anger and stress, but also helps improve mental health, like reducing anxiety and depression and promoting hope. Also, when anger is strongly directed inward, people with a lot of self-forgiveness have lower rates of suicidal behavior than people with lower rates. And when anger is directed outward, people with higher self-forgiveness keep suicidal behaviors low. Through forgiveness, we increase our positive thoughts about the person who offended us, which reduces our angry thoughts. Now, forgiveness is not about forgetting or excusing what the person did. You may not ever be able to forget or excuse what they did. Forgiveness is about releasing your anger and getting that out and thinking more positive thoughts towards the person who did you wrong. As North beautifully describes it, our resentment is to be overcome not by denying ourselves the right to that resentment, but by endeavoring to view the wrongdoer with compassion and benevolence and love while recognizing that he has willfully abandoned his right to them. So the person who wronged you is not excused for this behavior, and justice can still be obtained while you learn this to forgive. But you're willingly giving them love and compassion, even though you know they don't deserve it. And that's the key here. You want to express your anger so that you can let it out. But I'm not asking you to trust that person again. I'm not asking you to reunite with that person again. It might be a situation where neither of those things is possible or healthy for either of you. But the good thing is, it doesn't matter how you go about achieving forgiveness, because forgiveness is not about that person. Forgiveness is about you and your thoughts and making them as healthy as possible. So the first method that I have of achieving forgiveness is 20 steps. Here's a PDF of the steps for that forgiveness, but they're categorized into 4 main categories. And the first is to uncover your feelings about the situation. So you want to learn how you're feeling and why you're feeling and how that's affecting you. And the second step is just to decide and commit to forgive this person. Doesn't mean you have to do it right now, right this second, but deciding in the future that you will work on and forgive that person. The third is cultivate compassion for that person. Understand that they're a human just trying to do the best that they can, and put yourself in their place. And the fourth is reflect on how it feels to work towards forgiveness. Go deeper. Journaling is a great way to do this, but you want to find meaning and personal connections within this process and maybe connect with this person that did something wrong to you. Now, the second method that I have is only 6 steps. But the first is identifying the injustice and your right to feel resentment, because they did something wrong and that affected you, and you have every right to feel the way that you feel. So you want to feel the way that you feel, but the second step is to unconditionally accept yourself while you're feeling it. So a lot of the times we resist the anger because we don't think we should be angry or that it's okay to be angry. So you want to tell yourself it's okay to be angry and give yourself that acceptance and space to feel the anger and resentment, because you want to let it out and you want to release all of it or as much as possible. And that's the third step, is to make a willful choice to let go of the anger and resentment and offer compassion to that person. So you bring up the anger, you let it out so that you can offer that person compassion and support. Now, if you're feeling resistance to offering them compassion and love, you might want to skip steps 4 and 5 and go straight to journaling so that you can figure out why you're feeling resistance to offering them compassion and support. But if you're not feeling resistance to that, then you can move on to the 4th step, which is put yourself in their shoes. Try to think of things from their perspective. And you might even ask yourself, when have I done something like this? So you can move on to the 5th step and do the loving kindness meditation. I do offer the steps in my video on connectedness, so go ahead and go watch that video after you watch this one. But when you do the loving kindness meditation, it will also help with increasing your self-compassion. So you're giving yourself the compassion that you need to give to other people, so that you can move on to the 6th step, and which is going deeper and reflecting on your emotions. You might, with this new compassion you're giving, give new meaning to the experience and come at it from a different perspective. But you also want to be aware of how you're progressing in this forgiveness process, from maybe complete anger and no forgiveness and how that affected you, to more forgiveness and maybe way less anger, and how you're feeling in this process. So let's put all of this in perspective with a personal story of mine. My favorite person to get mad at is myself, because I like to set high standards for myself, but other people have high standards for me as well. And not meeting those standards makes me feel like I'm not good enough, and that I get angry about that. And I usually get in this angry mental loop where I'm resisting the anger, but I'm feeling the anger. So I usually have to stop and tell myself, it's okay. I'm angry. That's okay. Let me bring all this up and give myself that compassion and space so that I can let it go and start seeing things from different perspectives. And these people who are coming at me wanting things are simply just wanting to get their work done as well and for it to be as good as possible. And I'm wanting the same thing, but I'm also having to manage my work as well. So I get kind of overwhelmed, and I just end up expressing my feelings. I feel calmer. I might talk to a friend or journal, as long as I'm letting those feelings out. I don't want to bottle up those feelings. So I'm forgiving myself and the other people in this process as well. So forgiveness is really beneficial for addressing the anger. And you can still seek justice while learning to forgive. But the idea is that you find compassion and reduce the anger so that you can take action and it be as proactive and beneficial as possible. So if you found this video helpful, please hit the like button. And if you want more content like this, hit the subscribe button so that I can continue to bring you more statistically significant support.